right? So we will come back to this calculator program in a bit. Let's look at a little bit background about Python programming. So Python programming was invented by this gentleman called Udo van Rossum some 30 years back, and Python become is becoming very, very popular now. So this is, I will just run through all this. I will come to only relevant part, which is useful for this demo purpose. Now you see that this is basically the ranking of programming language, and this is the rank as per the usage, as per the developers or people who are downloading it or using it or asking questions on different platforms like Stack Overflow and all. So you can see Python is ranked number 1. Second comes Java. And this is the top 10 language. Python is top language. Now, the reason why Python is a top programming language is that Python is not only very, very easy to understand, it's very intuitive. So when I'm writing this code, if you see that very intuitive. Print means you're going to print it out. If I have to input from the user, I have to just input. So it's very intuitive. Python is very intuitive, but with the ease of programming, you get a lot of powerful features. So Python is extremely powerful language because of the language construct. Python, the code which is written in Python, even other programming languages like Java or C++, all this thing, Python code will be very, very terse and still readable and understandable. Certainly, if you take like, required 100 lines of code, in Python, you can actually pretty much do it in probably 50 lines or maybe under that, because the way Python is structured, the way Python is built. So Python is extremely powerful, but
excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can you turn off the microphone of Edsel? He's making noise. We cannot hear you perfectly.
There is a noise. Okay.
Yes. Like you explained so good, but we cannot hear because of her.
Mute,
Edsel. Thank you very much.
Yes. So yeah, please mute. If you have question, then unmute and then you can ask. Otherwise, please be muted. And I think it's the person has already done that. Thank you for that. Right. So now Python is powerful. It's very intuitive to understand. But additionally, Python is becoming very popular. If you look at the trending chart, it is becoming very popular. Is another reason is because Python is extensively used in artificial intelligence, machine learning. And these are the technologies which are coming to us at a very fast pace, and Python is becoming the base for writing this code. Python is very, very rich. Python library is very rich. The reason is that it is built on top of C programming language, which means all the work which has been done on C since last 30-40 years, all that has been taken into Python. And so Python is very rich, and it is also called general purpose programming language. Now, for that, because it is used at various different applications, it's also used by scientists, right? And for that, if you see that these are different places, you use Python for simple scripting, you use Python for web development, you use for numerical analysis. You can actually build very cool looking desktop UIs using Python. Of course, it is used in a lot of scientific research, and Python is used for machine learning, artificial intelligence. Now, because of this, Python has become very, very rich, and that's why Python is being adopted as a language of choice for artificial intelligence and machine learning. So that is the reason of Python becoming popular. Now, usage of Python is predominantly on the server side. Python code as such cannot run on the browser because browser only supports HTML, CSS, JavaScript. But Python is used a lot in web development, and Python as just as Python is also used, but there are other frameworks also like Flask or Django. They are extremely powerful web development framework, which is used with Python to create web development, basically your websites or your web platform. So Django Flask along with Python is used there. So pretty much Python will run on the server side. So if you look at the client server architecture, the client is our computer from which we are sending the request. Now, let's say, for example, this platform Robopreneur is again running on a Python-based server. So when I'm sending requests for this and I'm browsing through like the courses and I'm doing various things, it is actually hitting the backend of Python, which is actually running on Django, and it is sending me the response back. It is sending me the response back. So my browser or my computer is the client, and my Python code is actually running on the server. So server receives the request, Python code is going to run, it is going to retrieve the response, and it is going to send back to the client. So Python code will be running here. It will many times not only send the data, but it will also generate the whole page along with the data. And then that's how you basically will all the page along with the data will be shown on the computer. Like for example, in this page, we're getting all the course details from the backend, right? We are getting all the data from the backend, and then it is displayed on the UI using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So that is where Python will work. So Python is basically, somebody was asking about the revision. So you look at this revision history, and then Python 3 is something which we are using, and Python 2 has been dropped now. And Python is actually pretty much used by all the big companies in the world. You name it, and they use Python for something or other. And going forward, in fact, I think every company will be adopting Python because of its usefulness in artificial intelligence and machine learning. And every business is going to adopt this. Businesses which don't adopt artificial intelligence are going to slip back, and they are going to fall off because having this artificial intelligence, you can really create things which is really you can make a lot of good predictions. You can use for a lot of business benefits, and that's where artificial intelligence becomes very powerful. So pretty much most of the companies, I think 99% or more, in fact, all of them would be adopting Python and then coding environment. So now, so this is as simple, basically a story. I'm sure you must have heard about this story. This story is about the thirsty crow. This is a small comparison of the programming languages. So this thirsty crow, the story goes like this, that this crow is very thirsty and he wants to drink water. He gets a container which has the water, but the water level is low. The crow is very smart and he puts in some stone, the water comes up. He does a lot of manual work. The water comes up and he's able to drink that. So he's a smart crow. But now in our times, now this smart crow is actually a programmer, which is able to automate this process. Is you going to use a software which will very easily do our job. And the software is something like a straw, which he uses a simple and powerful tool through which he's able to drink this water without much of an effort. But now this guy is a Python developer. He's doing the same thing, but he's enjoying the coding. So that's what is Python. I have worked in many programming languages. Even I have worked on JavaScript, Java, C, and then Python. And Python is something which I really enjoy. Choice. But if it is a web development, then of course one has to work in JavaScript. So that's where I use JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. But given a choice for server development or for any competitive programming or anything, generally I adopt Python. But yeah, for competitive programming, I also look into C++ as well. So Python is a language of choice even for me with 20 plus years of experience. Now, so this is the language which is in demand. You can actually start getting used to it in a very good way. So now if you look at this, these are different IDEs. Somebody had mentioned PyCharm. Yes, PyCharm is absolutely a fantastic coding editor. VS Code, only thing with PyCharm is quite heavy, and it even takes time to load. So if you have a computer which has little lesser resources, PyCharm will become a little heavier for this. VS Code is a lightweight and it can be used. Another advantage of VS Code is you can actually switch to different languages. Like I use VS Code for Java development or web development or even Python. So I have like one editor which I can keep switching for different workspaces and different programming languages. Now this particular, for teaching, I used Jupyter Notebook. And because Jupyter Notebook is another very powerful tool, Not only it gives me ability to write my text, create a story, embed images, but it also gives me ability to execute code. I can write code like something like this. I can say hello Python, and when I execute it, I will just execute it, will run, and it will show me the output right in the Jupyter notebook. So again, it is good for organizing your code, especially if you want to teach or you want to create a story. And it's a lot used by data scientists and machine learning professionals, because again, machine learning and data science will be, you'll be explaining, taking up a problem, then you are going to provide different analysis and different assumptions, and then you will have your solution. So you again have to tell some kind of a story. So there again is a lot, Jupyter Notebook is a lot used by data scientists. So now let's so somebody had asked me this question about the color. Now, okay, I don't have this particular one. Okay, so I think I have in string manipulations. But yeah, trust me, it's a very simple thing. You just have to start
Color.
format, and then you have to go to the second one. Okay, so now coming back to our simple calculator. Now coming back to this editor. Now you see that we have done this operations, arithmetic operations, which is actually for multiplication, we use multiplication, and that's how we get the product. So this is plus, minus, multiplication, division. And there are, so these are the 4 arithmetic operators which are supported in Python. Other than that, there are 3 additional arithmetic operators. So the another one I'm going to use is called remainder. It's a remainder operator. It's called modulus operator. So if I'm dividing x by y, what is the remainder I'm going to get? So that's what it is going to print for me. Then I'm actually going a little bit faster because just a demo, but these things are covered in much more detail during our regular classes, but this should give you a good start to explore Python. So this is modulus operator. Then I have this so I will say like power. So this is going to give me power of x raised to the power of certain number. So in this case, I'm raising x to the power of y. This is called exponential operator. And then I go, and this is basically I'm doing, this is called floor division. And this is how I can do my floor division. I will just in a bit, I will explain you the floor division as well. So this is, I have written complete code. Now, basically, if I come to this console, I'll just, I actually use this only. So now if I have a number like 5, and if my second number is 2, then this will give me the remainder. Okay, so 5 divided by, let me use 3. 5 divided by 3, the remainder of this should be 2. So this is going to give me the remainder. If I'm using power operator, so 5 raised to the power of 3, this will give me the value, which will be 125. So then floor division is, we know division, so 5 divided by 3, we are going to get value like 1.66. Floor division means you floor to the next integer, you bring it down to the next integer. So if I'm using floor division, you are going to come down to this value, which is my integer, is the next integer. These are the 7 arithmetic operators which are available to you. So now, so this is my one program which I have. Second program, I'm going to write it in the Jupyter notebook, and I'm going to explain you there itself on Jupyter notebook. So as I was, so this is my second program. Now, you may be aware about how to calculate area of a circle. So let's say I want to create a program where I want to calculate area of a circle. Now, area of a circle is pi r square. I think a lot of you would be aware of this. Now, if I want to write a program for this, I want to write the program for this pi r square. Now, my radius is, in this case, is 50. My pi value is 3.14. Area is my pi r square. This is the formula which I'm going to use. and I'm going to print it out. I'm just going to explain you line by line what is going on in this program. And this is how I'm going to get this. So to execute, I just have to simply I can actually go here and I can run the shell. And you see that no, this cell will execute and I'm going to get the output. Now I have two print statements, print statement 1 and print statement 2. So I get the output right here and I get the output right here. Now, so let me go line by line. So now the first line, so all this is actually part of my code. So this has basically, I think, yeah, about 12 to 15, 12, 13 lines of code. Now this first line of code is called comments. I'm going to write it. What exactly is comment? So comment is something which is for users. It is for future us. I have written a code. Now this code is for computers to understand. Now in future, if I come back to my code, how do I understand it? So I may want to explain my code. If it is a complicated piece of code, it's not very intuitive. I may want to explain my code. So this is how I can write the comment. And when I'm writing the comment, I have to put a hash in front. When Python looks at, okay, there's a hash, it is going to ignore. It is ignore this particular line. It is going to ignore this particular line of code because there is a hash there. And then coming to the line number 3, there again I have a hash. This is again a comment, and I'm saying R, pi, and area are variables. Now, variables are something like your containers. They are going to contain the values. They are going to hold the values. You can create any number of variables you want to arrange your logic. So variables helps us build our logic. So they will help us to create step-by-step instruction for the computer so that I am able to get the output. Now, in this case, my step-by-step instructions is I'm holding a value. Now, this value, as we have seen, we can use input and I can actually get this value. I can actually get this radius from the user itself. I can say enter the radius. Okay, I can actually do something like this. So it is when I execute this, it is going to ask me the input. So whatever input I get, I'm going to convert into integer, because input function as an output gives me a string. Now strings I cannot use for mathematical calculations. So for that I have to use I have to convert it into integer. It can be a float as well. If I want to convert it to float, I can say float. If I'm interested in finding radius, area of a circle with radius, which is a decimal number. Float is a decimal number. So basically I'm able to get this value, convert it to float, and I'm able to store it in my variable radius. Okay? And then I have defined another variable because I want to hold this value 3.14, which is the value of pi. And then I am performing a mathematical operation, which is determining the area of the circle. And then I am basically storing it in area. I'm storing it in the area variable. This is my third variable. And now this area variable, I'm printing it out. I'm just printing just the value of this, and I get the value right here. Now I can also print it as some. Okay. Okay. So I'll just mute. Okay. So now, along with some user message, I can also print it. Now this is, I'm using a print function. To this print function, we are providing 3 values. We are providing 3 values to it, and it prints me with a space in between them. So area is printed, area is equal to is printed, and there's a space, then area is holding the value of the area. That is what is printed. And then I'm printing square meters. This is another string which will be printed. So I'm printing all this. Now let me execute again, because I've made a small change. I'm reading this input here. So I will make a small change. So now I'm going to execute this. So now this time I've executed, and it's asking me to enter the radius, exactly the same thing which I did this. And I'm going to, this time I'm going to, let's say, provide 100. Hit enter, and you see it has calculated the area of this circle, and it has printed this area of the circle. So this is how
Sir,
background
there are some background sound. We cannot exactly listening you.
sound. I will just mute that. Okay, yes, it has been muted. Now, so I will actually just cover this notes with you. While I'm doing that, I want, because there will be a certificate also provided to you from, book my session. And for that, please fill this form. This is basically, I'm just going to send it in the chat. So please fill this form. I'm going to send to everyone. And then once you fill this form, you are going to actually, this is a feedback form. We can provide the feedback, and as well as you will get the certificate for attending this workshop. Okay, so please do fill, please take a minute to fill this. I will just pause for a minute, just open this form, and please start filling this. I'll just give a minute, and then I will get into the rest of the topics for this demo session. So I'll give you a minute. Please fill the form.
Sir, when will be the next session?
Next session we will plan. You will again get the communication through WhatsApp. I have sent this link. I will send it.
Can you give me a number?
Yes, I will actually pass on.
Can you send the link form for the survey?
Yes, I've just sent it again on chat. Okay, I've sent it again on chat. So let me know if you are able to see that. Okay, and so I will actually send details.
You cannot see the link, sir, on the form.
So so let me. I've sent it in the chat. If you're not able to get this, then this is the link.
We cannot see, sir.
You're not able to see this?
Yes, cannot see the link.
Okay, I'll send the link again. It is there in the chat. Okay, it is there in the Zoom chat. So please go to the Zoom chat and you will be able to find this link.
Yes, sir, got it.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, please use this link. It ends with DU9, that's how it ends with. So please fill in this.
But can you give the number, please?
Sorry?
Can you give the number of yours?
Yes, sure.
WhatsApp number. What about WhatsApp number?
Yes. So actually you can, in case if you would like to register, you can actually register for the course. All these courses are there. Now, I will also provide you WhatsApp number so that you can actually communicate. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. In the meantime, please fill in the form.
No.
So once you please fill the form, send me, just confirm to me by giving me thumbs up, right? Thumbs up, right?
Sir, do we have to pay for the next classes? Or they will be free?
So some of the classes will be free. Okay, some of the classes will be free, and some of the courses which will be a long running courses will be paid courses. So I'm just sending the phone number. It's also available on WhatsApp. You can communicate on this as well. Okay, so I will actually put it there. If you want to make a note of this, you can actually communicate on this as well.
Done, sir. I completed the form.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, great. So let's continue with the rest of the portion. We have just about 4 to 5
Sir,
minutes.
there are so many background sound. Actually, we are not hearing you clearly. Actually.
Okay, please mute. Please mute. I'm just going to mute myself.
I think somebody's doing kind of things on purpose.
I will just, with few people, I'm just going to mute them. Should be okay. If otherwise, if somebody is doing on purpose, I'm just going to remove them from the meeting. Thanks for your cooperation. Okay, so now, so I know that most of you will be aware of the computer architecture. It has input devices, then there's a CPU, then there's an output device. The way the computer program are executed. Now the code which we are writing in Python is a high-level programming language. We use high-level programming language to write the code. Computer, to understand it, we convert into machine code using an interpreter. In Python case, we use interpreter to convert the course. To convert the code into instructions, and the instructions are actually binary instructions is which are fed to the computer. Now all these instructions are actually stored on RAM, and instructions as well as the variables, the values which you create, they are stored on the RAM, and the execution happens in the CPU. The CPU is going to get the instructions from the RAM and is going to execute it, and in something called fetch, decode, execute cycle. So from RAM, it is going to get this steps. Basically, it's going to get instruction by instruction, and CPU is going to execute it at a very fast speed, at a gigahertz speed. And once it has completed the execution of the instruction, it will move on to the next instruction. And that's how it's going to get instruction after instruction, and it is going to execute them. And whatever the results are there, again, the results, the variable, the new value of the variable, or the new value of the data, all that is stored in the RAM. So RAM is where your program instructions will be stored, and even your variables, because when you're creating the variable, it will occupy memory and it will have address. So all that will be stored on RAM. So now this is basically a program which you can actually try yourself, or maybe I will actually go over this program quickly. This is basically a program to swap two numbers. So we get this number as A and B. We're storing these two numbers on A and B. If I print this number, you'll see that it will print 10 and 20. But to swap, in a traditional programming language, in I think almost all the programming languages, this is the classic way of swapping the number. The way to do it is you're going to use the third variable, which will be a temporary variable. Now C is acting as a temporary variable. Now to C, you're going to assign this value of A, because what we will do is the value of B, we are going to assign it to A. So what happens is when this line of code is executed, the value of A is lost. And in that case, what happens is if the value is lost, we have it in C, right? It is already stored in C. And that's how we complete the swap, by assigning whatever the original value of A, which was stored in C, is assigned back to B. So this is how you can actually do swap in most of the programming languages. This is how the swapping can be done. And now in this case, then if you look at it, the assignment, if you look at this line, you may think, okay, is the value of C being assigned to A, or the value of A being assigned to C? So the assignment will always happen from right to left. So from right to left, that's how the assignment will always happen. So this means the value of A will be assigned to C. So whatever is on the left side is going to get the value. So if you have to do any calculation, and we have done the calculation in our calculator program, the calculation is always done on the right side, and the output is stored the variable which is on the left side. So assignment is always happening from the right to left. Now, if you have to do it in Python in a very simple way, if I am to do it in Python, so now I have x is equal to 10, y is equal to 15. I want to swap this x. I can simply say x comma y is equal to y comma x. This is how I can actually do it in Python. In Python, everything is actually quite terse, and you see x has a value of 50. and y has a value of 10. Now, this is not something which you would think, okay, so this I have to remember to swap the numbers. No, this is happening because of a principle called tuple packing and unpacking, which we cover in detail. Unpacking, right? So which we'll cover in detail. So later when we are doing, we cover it in actual course, because it's a big concept. You have to first understand what are different collection types, and then you will go into it. But you see that no, Python like this has amazing ways of doing things. It has amazing constructs which are there, which are available to us in Python. Okay, so we have already covered how to take input from the users. We can do the input, and if whenever we have to do mathematical calculation, we will have to convert this input, because input value we get as string. We want to convert it into number. Yes, ma'am, you have a question, Radhika. Radhika, you can go ahead with your question, please.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Actually, I am joined a bit late. So I just wanted to know which ID you are using. How can we start typing the program? Like, is it command prompt or any site?
You should use this ideally. Okay, you should use this ideally. Okay. So,
what is this?
Yeah, so when we have sent you instruction of installing Python.
Yes, yes.
Python, this ideally comes with it. Okay, so on your command prompt, on your search box, which is next to your, so if you type ideally, you will get this interface. Okay, so I'm using Jupyter, and so we have covered this input, and then this is something for importing the module, right? So we have actually just right away imported module of maths. Now Python comes with a lot of built-in functions and a lot of built-in features, but again there are certain features, like for example, it has a lot of modules. Now it has almost like 10,000 modules which are inbuilt into Python. Now you don't want to load all the modules at the beginning of the program, right? So specifically, if you want to load modules, you can use modules like import. Then there are modules for game development, the modules for different things. So yeah, so all this is basically then. So when we are doing this course, we have our we have this pretty much assignments also along with the courses. I will just show you what are the things which we cover in our Python programming course. So this is what I'm using my VS Code. So I will go to this, and I will just I will show you. So first of all, after learning all the concepts, all the features, you go to this particular, you get to build 2 projects, and one of them is okay, so
so this black screen would appear when I install that package, you mean to say?
Don't. So this is just a theme. Don't worry about the color. Now this is something which I'm using VS Code. Okay, so VS Code instructions we have not sent because it's a little bit complicated to install and use it.
Okay.
So I have sent you instructions of installing Python. So now, so the first project is something which you will be working on is. And if I run this program now, you see that so now it is actually there's a bank application. You may have visited banking websites where you can do deposits and deposits, withdrawal, different type of transactions. You may have also visited ATM. So this is how, like, let's say I want to basically log into this. So it is asking me what is my account number. So this is my account number 10,000, and then this is my PIN, and it is able to log me in and saying thank you for authenticating yourself, manager. And then after that, I can actually do various things. I can check my balance, which is by pressing 4. I can check my balance. Now, this is something in this program, we don't get into database operations, but rather what we do is we use something called file-based database handling. So if you look at this, so I have this my file. From this, I'm reading my content from this file. And you see that this manager, this is what I've used to log in to this. And this is the balance 5700. Now, let's say if I withdraw, I want to withdraw some money. So I'm saying, okay, I want to withdraw the money. And I will use option 2. And I say I want to withdraw 1000. When I withdraw 1000, then it says, okay, it will execute the program. It will say, yeah, you withdrawal successful. Remember to collect your cash. And you see what has happened is it has actually updated my amount, right? And it just said, so whatever is the amount, it will update it. So all this storage for storage mechanism, we are using file-based database. I can actually deposit money back. I can say I want to deposit 500 back. All this functionality is going to work. And you see that even this has done the deposit and it has updated the amount. If you look at this, it has updated the amount. Now, if I come back and I want to, let's say, check balance again, I say 4 and I will be able to check the balance and it's telling me 5200. And if I want to exit, I can simply put 55. So this project is something which you'll be building. Building this will give you actually a very good idea about how to build a software system. And in this course, you will learn all the constructs, how to basically deal with collections, how to deal with create functions, loops, control flow statements. We also have game development modules. So if so we actually also build a couple of games during the course. Okay, so this game is basically this is called Space Invader game. You may have played this kind of game. So if I am playing this Python 3 main, and when I run this, it's going to launch the game, and it is going to give me this interface where I can actually control this thing. You may be seeing some kind of lag because yeah, my computer is moving a little bit slow at the moment because I have a lot of windows open. But yeah, this game will perform in a very good way. And you see, this is all using just Python and a library which helps me to create this game. I can integrate images. I can use my keyboard or mouse to control the flow. All this I can do. I have a complete control on sound as well. So pretty much it is used for a lot of game development, but only for 2D games. Python is not well suited for 3D gaming. It is well suited for 2D game. We can build pretty nifty 2D game. Now this may not be seen it because this is again Zoom thing, and the basically it is running in FPS, which is frames per second, and even Zoom is doing frames per second. So you may be seeing lag and you may be seeing black and white. You see, it is also detecting collision. So I'm doing collision detection, and it is also doing increasing my score. So accordingly, it is doing all this thing. So these are the things which these were some of the demos. And if I go back to my course content, and if you see this is what we cover. We cover variables, concept variables, then we get into if and else, which is basically part of control flow. Then we go to loops, while, for loop, then we get into data types, and then we do deep dive in Python strings. Then we go on with functions, operators, exception handling, file handling. This is where you start building a project. Then we go into collections, various collections, list, tuples, dictionary, sets. Then we get on with the game development part in this particular course, which is Python beginner course. So this is pretty much I wanted to do it. Sorry, we have exceeded the time by about 10-12 minutes, but hopefully you have found this session helpful. If you have any question, you can ask, and I see.
Sir, I had one question. Sir, these where can you post the link for this course?
Yes, so you can, we will post the link for this course and you can always refer to this website. I will again send the detail of this website, robopreneur.com, and
Okay.
I will send
And
it.
sir, these are recorded. These videos
So
will
these are
be recorded.
live instruction. It will be a live instructor led session. The way we work is not only you will be listening from the industry expert, somebody like me, I have like 20 plus years of software and technology experience, but also you will be working with mentor in a smaller groups of people where you will be working on the assignments. You have any doubt, so mentor is going to completely guide you in learning this. So every concept, whatever you learn will be, no, you will be pretty master of that concept. So we follow this expert plus mentor model, which ensures master of all the concepts which you're going to learn. And you'll be doing a lot of hands-on under the guidance of mentor. And to learn technology, of course, you always need some guide from the industry who has who has built software systems themselves. And this is where you can actually rely on Robopreneur offering, where we have all the expert instructors, and also you learn from instructor experts, and then you master those concepts through mentors. I posted this link of this website. You can browse around. You can contact us. There are phone numbers also mentioned, and you can browse around the course. You can also ask for a one-on-one demo. Also, if you have further questions, you can ask about that in our one-on demo. Along with that, we also do a lot of competition. We actually do hackathons. We also have a lot of robotics courses. We do robotics competitions as well. Right. So, and then we also do master classes. So this week we'll be doing master class for building your own automatic hand sanitizer. So, using sensors and motors, pumps, you'll be able to do that. Right. So in past also we have done many master classes like wireless power transfer or transferring the data using lights. These are the master classes which we have been doing. So we have coverage on, basically we have very wide courses which are relevant to upcoming, relevant to in the industry, upcoming industry like artificial intelligence, robotics, right, game development. Then we have Java development. In fact, we have our students who we prepare them for certification also on Python as well as Java, even on robotics on Arduino. So all this is available to you. You can browse around. If you have any questions, you can reach us out on our email address or even WhatsApp, or you can call us as well. Okay, so yeah, any other question? Okay, I hope you have found this
So
session.
can we have a program of your course?
Yes, so program of your course, if you go.
Today's lesson is the first session, right?
This is basically a demo session. So generally our sessions are 2-hour session where we do more in depth. I have just try to give you some high-level view of Python. How do you go about building Python? So if you go to any course, you want to actually look into what are the details about the course, you can go inside this, and then you can actually check out the overview. Then you can actually go to the curriculum. Right, you can actually go to the curriculum and you will find, okay, what are the curriculums, what are the chapters, what are the topics we are going to cover. So all this information is available on this platform, robopreneur.com. Okay.
I have a question, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much.
You use a word actually tuple, but actually I want to know what exactly means tuple for Python.
What exactly means? I missed the first part. What was the question?
Actually, I would like to know tuple. Use this word in a time in this section.
Okay, it's not very clear for Python. I'm not sure. Can you be a little bit louder, please?
Sir, he means
Sir, actually tuple. Actually, I would like to know tuple. Are you hearing,
Tuple
sir?
is very simple. Like anything in Python, all this thing is very simple for you. tuple is one of the data types. Like you may have used arrays in.
Latig mo, sir. Latig.
You have used arrays. Now in Python, you don't generally use arrays for doing general purpose programming. You use list. List is something which you use. Well, the difference between, so this is how I can create list. If I want to create tuple, I just use round brackets, and I can do the same thing. Whatever I want to store in this, I can do this. Now tuple, if you see, there are only two methods, count and int, because tuples are immutable. Immutable means they cannot be changed. Okay, so that is the only difference between tuple and list. List you can modify. I can access the first item list, and I can modify this. I can to 3. I can change this list, and you see the change is reflected. But tuple I can access like the way I access list. But if I try to modify, you see I cannot. It will throw me an error that okay, you cannot change it. So that's tuple basically is immutable. You cannot modify them. So that's the only difference between tuple and list. And there are many more data types. If you're really going into complex calculation, then there is something which we get into this NumPy, which is much more useful for numeric calculation and storing tons of data. When you're talking about millions of numbers, then you don't use list or tuple. You actually go into NumPy. So those are the things which we actually cover in our artificial intelligence track. I hope that answers your question about tuple. Okay,
Yes, sir.
please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So can we get this recording, or is it not uploaded anywhere?
So this recording is a very short recording. It will not be very useful. I don't have a way to send this to you. I will check with book my session if there is a way to send this recording, the link for this recording. Okay.
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 Sir,
Yes.
can you give us the copy of our topic for today, sir, and send it our Gmail account?
Copy of what? Copy of code?
Copy of the topic, our topic for today, sir. The presentation.
The PDF, what you
Yeah,
showed.
PDF.
The PDF for you mean this particular one, this particular topic you're saying, which PDF? So
Yes, sir.
okay, so yeah, you can actually always browse around on this, right? It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. If you look at this, it's the same thing, like Introduction to Python Programming. All that is available on this website, which is a public website. You go to robopreneur.com and you will get all this content. Okay.
Thank you,
Sir?
sir.
Sir,
Yes.
I'm interested to enroll with with your other courses.
Yes.
How soon we will see our certificate so that I can decide which course I would like to.
Takkal bottom habe.
Certificate. So certificate is something which will be sent to you by book my session. I'll give.
Thank you for the information.
After a week, sir. After a week or after days?
I think yeah, you should get within a week.
Within the week. Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, so I hope I have answered all the questions. So in that case, I will actually stop the session.
Thank you very much.
One more question, sir. What is your name, sir?
My name is Dhananjay Singh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Bottom, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Please fill
Bye,
the form.
Latig, sir.
Remember to fill the form. So that will be great. Okay, thanks a lot.